I'm James Shillinglaw aboard the William Wordsworth, right?
Yeah.
I know, William Wordsworth. So, and that's a Riviera Travel river cruise line. It was formerly known as Riviera River Cruises. I'm with Phil Hulla, who's the CEO of Riviera Travel. And we're going to talk to him about his company and exactly what the new strategy is. We just had a big announcement here. We're going to talk about that, where they've named a North American president, and there's a whole lot more. I love Riviera river cruising. This is the second one I've been on, and we're going to talk about how this is improving and where they are in the market today. And you're going to find out all about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Phil, first of all, it was great to meet you. I hadn't met you before. That was
great to meet you too, James.
Yeah, so here we are, boy. We're actually heading up to the Asta River Cruise Expo, we started in Budapest, and we're heading upriver. Let's talk a little bit about, first of all, Riviera Travel. Tell us a little bit about the company and its history.
Sure. Riviera Travel is just over 41 years old. It was founded by a guy called Michael Wright, based in Burton-on-Trent in the UK, and it started life as a touring business, a coach touring business over the Channel to France, and then evolved. It was probably the first 30 years as touring only, moved into river cruising 10, maybe 13, 14 years ago now actually, and saw some real success there. But now we've grown to become the UK's biggest, I guess you'd call it a escorted travel business. You're river cruising, land touring in Europe and land touring worldwide. And we focus solely on a relatively mature, curious traveller and have a very wide range of products and.
Well, I first experienced it probably before COVID. I was on one of your ships. I think it was the Geoffrey Chaucer. A lot of the ships here are named after famous English authors. The new ones, we'll talk about that, are not. But so then you came over just about that time and started marketing and selling in the U.S. When did you come to that decision about why you wanted to go to the U.S.?
It's been we've been active with a small A, I might say, in the US for probably 7 or 8 years now, really. And so pre my time, by the way, I joined as CEO in 5 years ago, almost exactly now. So just before that, I think that
right around COVID. That's right.
Just before. I mean, literally, I became a CEO 1 week before the first UK lockdown.
You have good timing, right?
Yeah, timing is everything, as they say, James. Exactly. So pre-me, Riviera had begun to expand in North America and put a small footprint, a little team up actually in Connecticut. And it was always a view, and I think rightly, that we had a very strong presence in the UK market, but a terrific product offer that was applicable more broadly, and that was a natural next step. That I can't speak for any more in terms of what the strategy was there. Now, as I arrived, that was very small scale, and of course we went into COVID, and so I had strong
strategies are out the window.
Yeah, exactly. We basically hunkered down, and with the huge support of Marilyn Conroy and Bruce Metzendorf, who were with us on the ship here. They kept us on the map and kept our North America activity going. So actually, it's ticked along nicely for 4 or 5 years without much love or support, if I'm honest, from the UK head office as we navigated COVID and sort of rebuilt coming out of it. But my perspective on joining as CEO, and my very strong view now, is that it does represent a really exciting opportunity for Riviera. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, I don't think for 1 second it's easy to build a business, a brand, a presence in North America. I don't think that. I know it needs to be done well. It needs to be done gradually. But I'm determined that I think we've got a product offer, the touring and the cruising combination, our positioning in the marketplace, the quality of what we do, that it is applicable to that market. We've kind of seen that with even the small numbers we've taken. I feel confident there's a good fit there, and we're now very committed as a business to.
Well, you have, and then that was one of the things where you rebranded Riviera River Cruises, which Marilyn had been marketing in the States, now to Riviera Travel, the bigger company, right?
Yeah, and there are 2 reasons for that. One is, as we build a brand that is more than just UK or an international brand, I want as much consistency as possible, because you just end up clashing, and that's a problem. But actually, more importantly, Riviera Travel is not just about river cruising. River cruising now is about half of our business from a passenger perspective, so we're a very big touring business, both in Europe and worldwide. I think that's an asset. Most of our competition, when I look at them, are either very focused on or entirely river cruising businesses or their touring businesses. But we've genuinely got scale in both. So bringing that together is one of the ways I think we can differentiate. And we've got some really exciting ideas about some products we're going to bring to market in North America.
That will mean that U.S. travel advisors and Canadian will now have access to all of Riviera travel products, right?
Not all yet.
Not all yet.
Yeah, because again, I want to make sure we do this well and do it gradually. So far, Marilyn and Bruce, who know river cruising, we've been focused purely on river cruising. We are now introducing a range of touring and actually some very exciting combination cruises where for somebody who might want to come to Europe for 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, we're putting together itineraries where we're taking one of our very best land tours, we're combining it with a river cruise, and we're making sort of combination
so it's
grand
multi characters to the trip, land, river, all kinds of things. And you, as part of that river cruise offering, I think you even have yachts in Croatia.
Yeah,
right?
we do, exactly. We have a small yachts program in Croatia, which we do currently sell in the US, and does quite nicely. That's it's a terrific product. It goes very well. It's quite hard to grow. There are only so many yachts you can get in the Adriatic, but that will be a big part of our business going forward. But we're very excited about the North America opportunity. And back to you mentioned the news today.
Yeah, that was when I just had an interview with Stuart Milan, who is now the new. I was given he was the VP of Sales, and within a few minutes he was suddenly the president of North America, and he's going to be dividing his time between the UK and the US now, right?
That's right, and that's a genuine sign of our commitment. So to give you a bit more context, that Stu has been in the business. I hired him 5 years ago, and he's been instrumental in leading the growth of our trade business in the UK and did a terrific job there. I feel very strongly that this next chapter of our North American expansion needs some of that real deep expertise and knowledge of our business in the UK, and I want there to be a really strong bridge. I want our North American Riviera presence, operation team to be not just feel, but to be part of the wider organisation. And Stu's really well positioned. He's got a very broad-based travel background. He's an entrepreneurial guy. He's very trade focused. He's prepared to sort of spend quite a lot of time on a plane and make sure we get off on the right foot. And he's building a team now. And Marilyn and Bruce and Francis and the team are going to continue to support.
Yeah, well, Marilyn is well known in the trade, as is Bruce, and so they've had their experience in river cruising, especially. Although Marilyn also had ocean cruising, but so you have a great team there. And then I guess so now look at the river cruise operation. What do you have, about 14 ships now?
No, we have 12 at the moment.
12 at the moment, and you got 2 more coming on. Right?
2 more this year, yes. Next month we launch the Riviera Rose on the Douro, which is super exciting. It's the first ship we've had on the Douro first ship on the Douro that's got an outside restaurant with a panoramic view. There's lots of really exciting. It's a new build ship for us, so that's coming in a few short weeks, and then we've got a second new ship in June actually coming, the Riviera Radiance, on the Danube, which is now going to be our biggest and greenest ship with our biggest ever grand balcony suites, and we'll have 3 restaurants. A new restaurant, I got
to go on that one. That looks like fantastic. I mean, this is wonderful because you always have very good hardware. I mean, you had hardware that other similar, same builders, Skilla, and except your the value you offered, the rates was a little different. Right.
Yeah, sure, exactly. I mean, I think we focus very, very much on the quality of the holiday experience, and the fact that we've got our heritage, our background is as a touring business. Right. We're always thinking about what is the area somebody's going to visit? What's the right way to see that? What's the itinerary? How do we really bring that to life for our guests? Be that by river or land or some combination of that. We've been working with our shipping partner Skilla, you mentioned, for now 15 years since we started. Yeah. They're a terrific organisation.
Are they building these other new ships?
Yeah, the 2 I mentioned they're building, and we work with them on the design, the concept, the build. We run those ships terrifically well. But we are I guess what I pride myself on, we pride ourselves on at Riviera is being opposite. We are a mid-market player, but maybe at the premium end of mid-market.
Yeah, but I was talking, Stuart, he said sort of your premium upscale, upper premium. The
upper end of the mid-market. That's where we want to be positioned, but we want to over-deliver on value for money. That's not about, we don't seek to be the cheapest. That's not what we're about,
no.
But we do want to know that.
I don't think you should be, because it's really, the product isn't the cheapest but it is value comparative to some of the stuff in the market today, and there isn't. There's a lot of lines positioned in the high end of the market. There's not too many in kind of that mid-market there. I know we can name them, and we know what they are. But it's a good place to be.
I think so. And by the way, that's the positioning we have in the UK. We're not reinventing ourselves. This is what we're about. We internally we call it affordable luxury. We want to give our guests almost the bragging rights. They want to know that, we want to know, and we hold ourselves to account that they couldn't get the same quality or inclusions for the same price somewhere else.
It's all about inclusions in the end, and what it is.
Exactly. And so we measure that carefully, and we commit to that, and we hold ourselves to account. We have a price promise that says that if the price of the holiday comes down after they book, they will proactively refund the difference, which we do. So we do measure that, and we do. I guess we're in a position where we've got the scale and the history and the long-term supplier relationships to be able to get really good costs for what we do, and we want to pass that on. And that's one of the things I think that has really underpinned our success. And I think it will translate personally, and I've seen it. I think there is a positioning in the North American market which can work very well for Riviera.
Well, you're going to have some exposure here again. You've been the last. This is now the fourth Astor River Cruise Expo, and I think people have begun to realize what you offer. And having done your ship initially almost 6 years ago, and I came on board and I actually was giving notes to Marilyn, like what do you want to adapt for the U.S. market, and hopefully some of those were used. So what have you had to do to adapt to the U.S. market? So
we've got some very exciting changes we're making this year. So firstly, we've already launched a service for travel advisors to add flights, transfers, pre and post hotels, and to tailor and flex a holiday with a one-stop shop, phone call to our team based in North America, and all of that's commissionable. So that service is already live. The second couple of things that came, which are really exciting, as I mentioned, we're uniquely positioned with a terrific river cruise offer, a real high-quality river cruise offer, but deep long-term touring expertise. So we're combining some of the touring and river cruising to come up with products we think will really work for the North American market. I mentioned before we have a range of 4, we're calling them sort of land and river combination grand tours, where we're combining, for example, a tour of classical Spain or Portugal with a Douro river cruise, and there are 3 or 4 we've put together very carefully that we think will be very popular with our North American guests. So we're carefully combining packages and combinations, and that's different. We're deliberately building that for the North American market. Beyond that, we believe that our product and the way we manage it and the way we support our guests on our ships does work well for the North American guest, and we'll continue to listen carefully to that. You have an experienced team who've got some experience in North America, and we'll gradually adapt where we think we need to. But I think it can work well as a mixed group, and we see that now.
Well, I always thought it's a wonderful product. It's a great value product for people who don't want to pay the very highest price. Even you're still lower in price than many of the premium. I think, and also you have some wonderful programs for groups, for solo travelers. I think you've really been focused on that market as well.
It's a good point, actually. I didn't mention that, and I think another area that we've seen working really well for North America. Now, solos is a huge opportunity. It's a market, and certainly in the UK, and I think it's the same in North America, that's pretty poorly served. If you've got a bit of spare capacity, maybe you'll let them take it at a decent price. Actually, we've got a unique proposition that works very well. I think last year our solos business grew 75%. This year, 25, we're increasing our solo dedicated departures from 50 to 167. So we're investing behind that. I personally see that as it's incremental business. It's not, if you can build the capacity, that is a market that is very healthy and is poorly served, and it's an opportunity. And we've seen signs of that, real signs of that in North America as well. So I'm excited about that. I think groups too. Groups has always been something that we've welcomed. I think we've got a strong proposition with the 8th person goes free, and so we'll keep supporting that. And the groups market is much more developed and bigger in North America than it is in the UK. So we've got a few things to learn as we go there, but we've seen some signs of success.
Well, it's great that now eventually U.S. travel advisors will have even greater access to the other products and services that you offer. And I love the packaging that you can now offer already. They can already now get that, but now I think in the future you probably envision using other Riviera travel products as well.
Yeah, and what I would say is watch this space. We're working hard now on a suite of products that we've carefully put together that we're going to launch in the early summer this year. And then beyond that, we may well open out the whole range. But I'll make sure that what we do really well, and we can manage it carefully, and we can communicate it effectively.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of river cruise brands in the U.S. market. I've been at the dawn of this industry from in the '90s, where Americans didn't do river cruising, and then they suddenly discovered it. And there's some brands that have been pioneering. How do you position yourself among those other brands? What are the advantages that you think you offer compared to some of the other brands?
I think we've covered a few of them, but I try to put myself in a customer's shoes. When it comes down to who I choose to book my holiday with, it's about the fundamentals. It's about, look, do I have the confidence I'm going to have a fantastic holiday? So we first and foremost make sure that we can deliver on that. And that is about 40 years of touring experience. We know how to craft the right itinerary to see the right location at the right kind of pace and deliver it well. It's about the river cruise product and the blood, sweat and tears we put into making sure the ships are first class and they run really well, and we react to market trends. So the holiday has to be excellent, and that is first and foremost. Secondly, we want to offer outstanding value for money. We're not seeking to be the cheapest, but we want to know we've got that, the bragging rights. We over-deliver on quality of experience. And if you get those two things right, then look, it takes a bit of time to get your name out there. It takes a bit of time to be well known in the marketplace. I understand that. But when you really do get going, you get the advocacy, you get customers talking on your behalf, you get the repeat.
Get travel advisors talking as well.
Well, I hope so. And you get the repeat rates that we see in the UK, which are terrific. So it will take time, and we're going to invest, but we're going to do it the right way. And I think the final thing with Riviera, and this always sounds a bit trite, but it's one of the things that genuinely attracted me to the business. There is a real obsession about, it does sound trite, but it's true. There is a real obsession about looking after the customer. Right. If, heaven forbid, something goes wrong, then my team will bend over backwards to fix it. And there are dozens of examples. For example, I ring personally every week, every 10th time booker. I get a little list on a Monday morning that says, right, last week, these are the numbers. Some weeks it's 2 or 3 people. Some weeks it's 20, and I find the time. But that is the kind of culture that I think Riviera, driven by its founder, frankly, he was a very hands-on guy, has always had, and I'm determined that we maintain. So if you've got excellent holidays, terrific value, and obsession with service, that's the differentiation.
It is, and the most successful companies follow that formula, and I know many of them, but clearly you have the right ideas in all those aspects. Now, anything else you'd like to say to our 127,000 travel advisors out there about Riviera Travel tonight, which is everywhere? We're now identifying, they do offer Riviera River Cruises, but Riviera Travel is the overarching brand that is now branded that way in the U.S. But anything else you want to say about the company?
Look, I would just say, as I said to you earlier, James, that we're incredibly excited to be really in a position now to get behind our North American business and to expand. And we're investing very significantly, but we're investing for the long term, and we want to do this right. We know it will take time. We know we're not that well known yet, and we're going to build those relationships, but I'm determined that we'll do that, and you can see signs of the investment. I'm really excited about the product evolution that's coming, but there's going to be more to follow on that. Yeah. And the other thing I'd say is, look, we're all ears. We don't claim to have all the answers. You as a team know this market inside out. You know our potential customers in North America better than we ever could. So you tell us where you have the opportunity.
Well, you got a few good experienced travel advisors on this cruise, and you're going to find that. And I personally, I'm very excited about your 2 new builds in the Douro, and then this new vessel that's going to be on the Danube. And then when I saw the releases on your Croatian yachts, I kind of like, that could be good, right?
Great.
And now we're going to have access to maybe eventually all your tours.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. It's coming. So it's exciting times.
Now, where can travel advisors go? I think the Riviera Rivercruises.com website's still working, but you're going to transition over to Riviera Travel at some point, right?
Yeah, so the URL will change to Riviera Travel, and also, more importantly, we're in the process right now, actually, of fully re-platforming the website alongside the other investments we're making in our proposition for North America. So within a short couple of months, there'll be quite a bit of news about, right, this is our new presence, this is our new online resource for people to use, including the new URL, but many other things aside. So, we're at the beginning of a very exciting chapter.
Well, congratulations on all this progress, and I'm looking forward to how you develop the market in the U.S., because I think this is a great value product, and what you've putting together now sounds even better.
Great. Well, very good to meet you. Thank you very much for your time as well.
I'm James Shillinglaw aboard William Wordsworth here on the Danube, and this is Insider Travel Report.